Welcome to That's Good Broncos podcast. Breaking news segment is what we're doing today. I'm Brandon Perna here with salary cap expert Will Keys. He was Will Kiper Jr. last time. I forgot to bring that up in our Broncos mock draft. I thought it was funny. Today's episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use code DNVR when you sign up at DraftKings to take advantage of their can't-miss offers. Will, so I thought it's Friday. I thought the day was done, actually. I was going to have an early quit, an EQ as they call it in the biz, every biz. And then the Broncos slapped the franchise tag on Justin Simmons. And then Von Miller gets cleared, or the charges are dropped against him.
No charges filed.
No charges filed. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't even have any charges to drop.
Not enough evidence to charge anything to then drop the charges. So kind of big news on two fronts there for the Broncos. So we got our shit together as quickly as possible to get on this podcast and talk about it. Which would you like to start with?
They slapped the franchise tag on Justin Simmons, and they slapped us in the face by making us work this late on a Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
They cleared Von Miller, and they also actually that doesn't work. Basically, they're just making us do shit at 2:30 on a Friday, 3:30 for you, but you shouldn't have to do that. I think they need to figure out a better time to start dropping news.
They do. The Friday news dump, they can fuck off with that shit. To put
this isn't even like bad news.
Yeah.
Most people are okay with this, right?
Yep. That's me putting it politely, Will.
Yeah,
they can fuck off with this shit.
Fuck off.
Don't let me get unpolite about it.
They did. They were nice enough to provide us with a quote, a little soundbite. Not even a soundbite, but just kind of like a press release type quote from George Payton, and he said, "Designating Justin, that's Justin Simmons, with the franchise tag is a procedural move that allows us to continue working on a long-term deal. We are completely focused on making sure Justin, still Justin Simmons, remains a big part of the Denver Broncos for many years to come." What do you think about that?
I think that's accurate. I think when I saw they tagged him again, and I also read he was the first player to get the franchise tag this offseason. So to me, that says they have a plan for him. And they want him to know he's not going to be testing free agency. And I read that Mike Kliss said they're close on the numbers. So to me, it says George Payton has a plan for Justin Simmons, and they're going to get a long-term deal done. I think that it is actually a priority. I read this tweet from Pro Football Focus that was like, Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson are the only two safeties to get top 5 grades since 2019. And my first thought was, fuck yeah, those guys are good. That's cool. My second thought was, doesn't mean shit, because it hasn't helped the Broncos win any extra games having 2 top 5 safeties.
To think about how much worse we would be if we didn't have them.
Yeah, I mean, they could be picking their future quarterback right now.
Yeah, we might be bad. We might be bad enough to get like Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson.
It was just like it was an immediate yes, and then like a fuck. That doesn't matter when you don't have a quarterback. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it goes to show too that safeties are not particularly highly valued in the NFL today. I mean, I guess the Seattle Seahawks disagree with the Jamal Adams trade a year ago, which is just funnier every time you think about it. But the numbers kind of show that too. Obviously, when you look at the franchise tag for a safety, it's about $13 million to franchise tag a safety. And it's like closer to $30 million to franchise tag a quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and your second franchise tag for a quarterback, like with Dak, is closer to 40 million.
right. Yeah. Because you get, when you franchise tag them 2 years in a row, it's like
You got to give him 120%.
120%. Yeah.
Some shit.
Yeah. And if you
Kind
have
of crazy.
you have
How
the
much-
audacity to do it twice or 3 times, 144%.
Yeah.
Wiped out.
It's why, like, it depends on, you can look at it two ways. One, it might be smart because the Broncos tagged Simmons and now they get a long-term deal done with him. So you, as like a fan's perspective, because fans fucking love Justin Simmons. He's good. He's awesome in the community. We want him here. You're like, okay, one tag and then a contract that probably gets him an extra year in Denver. Or like we say all the time, just fucking sign him as soon as you know you've got a really good player, sign him. Because they will be cheaper after years 1 and 2, and then you're going to have a great deal on a really good player still in his prime, right? So, like, it's kind of there. It's good both ways. I don't know which way is better, but I would have liked to know Simmons is already a Bronco for a while because we've bitched about it all season, mostly because we didn't have a lot of positive things to say about the Broncos. So you just got to find something to bitch about. But now this could affect Kareem Jackson because they have to make a decision on his option, right?
Yeah. So with that option, they have 2 choices. They can turn down his contract option, and that gives them $10 million in salary cap space. So after they tagged Justin Simmons today, they went from about $44 million in cap space to $30 million. So they were previously like 4th most in terms of cap space. This will put them down kind of towards the middle of the pack. But that's okay because that's what you're using your cap for. But if they decide to pick it up, Kareem Jackson's option, that's a $12.8 million cap hit. And then the other option is restructure. That's
for Jackson, right?
That's an idea too. Yeah, for Kareem Jackson, which I think
I would do it. I would try to keep him for like 3 seasons. Next season and 2 after. Maybe with that 3rd season being like an out year for the team, right? But he's a good player, and I wouldn't want to lose him because there's so many questions with the corner position. So if you don't have to really worry about safety and you can draft maybe a guy to be that 3rd safety or replacement for Kareem Jackson at some point, I'd feel really good about them restructuring and extending him, and hopefully he's open to that. He seems like he needs to be here if we're going to get Deshaun Watson anyway. So
yeah, he seems like he's pretty important.
If they don't keep him, who's going to convince Deshaun to come to Denver? That would be my question.
Should they have signed J.J. Watt to do just that?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Sign Watt. Oh, you put J.J. Watt at defensive end, where I think he's actually like best with Von Miller on his hip. Ooh. That is Derek Wolfe and Von Miller in their prime, except both of them are older again, but just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to pay him about $16 million. And he'll probably play like 6 games. But those 6 games, that might turn out pretty well.
30 sacks.
You increase your chances of getting Deshaun Watson from like 18% to like 22% maybe.
That's a good boost.
Is that worth it? Can we run a cost-benefit analysis?
Yeah, cost-benefit analysis.
Yeah.
So the Broncos cap dropping by 14. So with the franchise tag, that counts 100% against the cap.
Yeah.
Basically. So if the Broncos do get a new deal with Simmons, though, then can the cap then change based, like if they do part of his salary as a bonus this year? Can they get cap space back, or do you just
depends on how they structure it. So you might even take a bigger cap hit this year if you sign him to a long-term deal, but obviously it's going to pay off at the end of the contract.
Yeah.
But if you have cap space, you might as well use it now.
Yeah.
And front load.
They got to get Shelby Harris and then whoever they're going to target in free agency. We'll talk more about that next week.
They also tendered Philip Lindsay and Tim Patrick.
Oh, so they put tenders on both those guys?
Yeah, I think they're both second-round tenders. Which
I'd be cool with both of them coming back. Tim Patrick especially, I think, is a nice asset to have, at least for another season.
I don't know. Do you think Patrick should have been a first-round tender? Because I don't know. Like, I think if I were a lot of teams, I would give up a second-rounder for Tim Patrick.
You would think that, but like once a guy's tendered, teams you don't see a lot of movement with once guys are tendered.
The only one I can really think of was CJ Anderson.
Oh yeah, that was the last.
And they ended up having to pay him more because the Dolphins matched it, or no, the Dolphins offered it, and the Broncos had to match it. Yeah,
that's right. That was the last one. So
he was basically in Miami.
Yeah. They got cheap with CJ, and then they got fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
So with the Kareem Jackson news, figure we should shout out Ben Albright. He was the first to report that the Broncos put the franchise tag on him.
Yeah,
and look at he's getting shout out by Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport.
Nice. Friend of the program.
Not Mike Clisto.
Confirming.
But fucking Ben went in there and made sure he put his own stamp on Mike Clisto's tweet.
That's so funny too. When like guys are like, someone already breaks the news and another reporter's like, yeah, no, I can confirm that. I can confirm. It's like the journalistic equivalent of like two guys, moving a couch, and they're each on the end, and you just kind of like show up in the middle and put your hands on it, but you're not really like doing any of the work.
The actual
like, no, I confirmed that we're moving the couch right now.
And actually, you're like kind of resting part of one of your shoulders on there, making it a little bit harder for everybody else.
Yeah, it's like, dude, fuck off. Like we had it. We don't need you. Interesting to see that. Interesting to see that Percy Harvin and Tim Tebow are trending.
Yeah, there's like some
2011.
Whoa, look at that dude's abs.
Ooh, nice.
It's something about like best college players of all time or some shit.
Yeah, they're teammates.
There's
also that crazy game in Minnesota in 2011 where Percy Harvin went off, and then Tim Tebow also had a nice game. Broncos won.
Tebow. Oh, yeah. I remember very little from that game.
I remember everything. What would you like to open your DM on live television?
No. No, I would not.
You think it's male frontal nudity? Is that why?
Oh, look, there's a little game day tweet. Our other show we do.
Yeah.
On the game day.
Watch that.
If you guys want to watch it too.
Maybe.
The Doris Burke clip is so fucking funny.
Also the hand sanitizer cam.
Oh my god.
There's another video that's like that I need to send to you, but you definitely can't play it over this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I had Clissa because he had the Von Miller shit. Before we get to Vaughn, I think it's a good time to say UFC 259 is this weekend, and there is sure to be action-packed with 3 title fights taking place in one night. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official betting partner of UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight with 100-1 odds on either fighter landing a punch during the title fight. Pick either main event fighter to land a punch during this weekend's UFC 259 bout, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 100-1 odds. Will, have you ever punched somebody?
Yes.
Have you ever been punched?
I don't think so.
I've been punched, but I've never punched anybody.
Was it the dude who shoved your face into a window on the bus?
No, I guess I've had my head manipulated by another boy twice. It was one of my friends punched me in the face, and it like shocked me.
Yeah, no, I bet.
And he punched like a girl. I'll tell you that.
I got put in a headlock once by an 8th grader when I was in 7th grade at a school dance, a middle school dance. One of the more awkward places you can be.
Like a fucking bar brawl.
Yeah, like a bar brawl.
School.
As one does at a middle school dance, I was not hanging out with any girls. I was just for some reason I was
starting fights with dudes.
Around this 8th grader, and he kind of had like twig arms. Really skinny kid, and not the most effective headlock, but
he got you.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a little bit of bullying.
Yeah,
physical bullying growing up
makes you strong. But don't worry, if MMA is not for you, DraftKings Sportsbook offers great odds and promotions on basketball, hockey, and so much more. And DraftKings, safe, secure, reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if either main event fighter lands a punch on Saturday. Place your bet and watch the fisticuffs apply this weekend. That's code DNVR to turn $1 into $100 if either fighter lands a punch for limited time. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Got to be 21. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Klitz. There we go. There's some imagery for Von Miller. Charges filed against Von Miller following criminal investigation. No charges filed. Fuck. No charge. If you missed the first word there, that is no. With the headline you're reading,
someone just hearing like charges filed and then be like, that's all I need to know, and then shutting off the podcast.
Yeah, they tune in at 17 minutes 50 or 40 seconds. Just randomly and like, yep.
I gotta know if they filed charges.
So no charges were filed. Von Miller's lawyer could not be reached for statements. The Parker Police Department submitted the case to the DA. The DA said there's not enough shit here for us to file charges. And so we didn't talk about this in depth ever because we're like, there's not enough to talk about, and there was never enough to talk about. So now the Broncos
don't even really know. We don't even know like the ballpark.
No, we don't.
Everybody's first guess was domestic violence.
Right.
I don't know if that was like ever like anyone ever actually put that out there, or it was just kind of an assumption based on the
I think it was weird timing, and it could it could have been that.
Yeah, it could have been.
There was never a single bit of information that came out that I saw or that you saw that said it's in this ballpark. It could be, like we said, illegal livestock smuggling. It could be, it could be illegal Viagra smuggling.
Mm-hmm.
It could be whatever it could be was not legal, but we didn't know what it was. So I'm glad we didn't try to capitalize on that. Had he been a Chief, a Raider, or a Charger, definitely would have.
Yes.
Definitely would have made some guesses there.
But since he's one of our own, he did nothing wrong in the eyes of the law. And in the eyes of you and me.
Yeah, I've never seen Von Miller do anything wrong in my life.
And between the three of us, you, me, the law, that's 6 eyes.
6 eyes, clear hearts, can't lose.
Yeah, I think we should congratulate ourselves more on how ethical we are as a podcast.
That's good sports. Most ethically sourced. Ethically sourced podcast. BitchWarmerBrew.com.
Yeah, I also wanted to point out. I want to give a shout out to your boy Big TP, our friend Trevor P, who also keeps up on the record or the predictions, the game predictions every week. Obviously, we don't have those in the off season, but Dr. Nugget on Twitter, resting Cliff Boothface, very good follow, tweeted, list your top 20 Denver Broncos podcasts, and then Trevor P chimed in. At number 1, That's Good Broncos, hosted by Brandon Perna and Guillermo Yabez. So he shouted us out. He's doing the promotion for us now. He's basically our PR man.
Thanks, Big P.
Yeah, Dr. Nugget replied, great guys, no doubt. Guillermo, that's me, likes Built to Spill, the band Built to Spill, which makes me want to make out with him.
Sick.
Yeah. So that's how people feel about us.
Yeah, I'd say that's positive.
Yeah, that's as good as a 5-star review.
It really is. 20 Broncos podcasts seems like the market might be a little bit saturated. So
are there 20? There can't be.
Fuck. I mean, like every radio station that talks sports they turn their shit into podcasts now. So, I mean, luckily we're within the DNVR network. So we're part like the DNVR Broncos podcast. Good. Our buddy Chad Jensen's got the Mile High Huddle podcast. They're solid. I was on a Broncos Brawl podcast as a guest a couple weeks ago.
Did you do some fighting? Did you fight anyone?
Mainly orange. There's there's so many. Yeah.
It's mainly, but it's spelled like Maine, like a horse's mane, M-A-N-E. So that's clever.
Yeah. All right. So I sent you a text. I don't know if you read it, Will, but
I did. Yeah, I did. I saw it.
Okay. So I want to preface this. Like I read this tweet by Adam Schefter, and then I wanted to scroll through the comments to see if I could find somebody saying stick to sports. Instead, I found something that I was like walking from room to room, and it just made me stop and fucking laugh out loud. And rarely do I read like a tweet that does that. So I'm going to share it. It's fucked up, but it's funny. So Adam Schefter tweets, the White House announced that Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium will serve as a new major community vaccination center. The stadium has served as a vaccination site for Fulton County since January 4th, with over 37,000 vaccines administered in that time. So, White House, I'm like, somebody's has to say stick to sports. First guy is open the country, right? So Tommy, whatever, Welt, right on par with what I was looking for, but I wanted stick to sports. Looking for stick to sport. Oh yeah, how exactly is vaccination a sport? So we kind of got it there.
Yeah, good enough.
And then Corked Bats comes in and says, anyone need help getting stabbed in Atlanta? And it's just a picture of Ray Lewis, and I fucking lost my shit. Oh my God. It's such a good joke that
it's perfect. Yeah, if you don't know, Ray Lewis allegedly may have stabbed a couple of people in Atlanta back in 2000, the Rams-Titans Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was guilty of obstruction of justice, I think.
At the least.
So it was like a club, and he was with 2 bodyguards, right? Or was it just his friends?
I've never heard about bodyguards. I don't know if Ray Lewis was big enough in 1999 to have bodyguards.
Well, I always thought I have the memory because I'm like, why would Ray Lewis need a bodyguard? 1 bodyguard, let alone 2. But maybe it was just his friends he was with. But you can look up the info right now. But I think it was like one of those guys stabbed and killed a man. So it's like it's not like a super funny thing to like joke about because somebody fucking died.
Yeah,
but it's everybody wonders if Ray Lewis actually did the crime or if he just helped cover it up for his friends. But
either way, I mean, one is much worse than the other. Covering up at the very least is, not great.
It's not great, but I think about like my closest friends, I would cover up for them.
Would you?
I would cover up for you, Will. Like if me and you ever are in person, well, if it's murder, that's tough. But I do need somebody to help me podcast, and I don't think
murder.
Yeah, like I don't think they'd let you podcast from jail. That'd be my concern.
Has anyone asked? Has anyone tried?
Actually, we should try to get you in jail because I think our podcast ratings and views would go way up.
Yeah, just like how everyone, like all the reporters, when they cut to them, have like the backgrounds with all the books, their bookshelf, and all that stuff. It's like carefully curated. I can just get in like my jail cell and like take a bunch of books out of the prison library, and they're all like law school books and like converting to Islam and weightlifting and all that stuff. Normal things you do in jail, and set it up like Ian Rappaport, basically, but with an orange jumpsuit.
Mr. Keys, or actually it'd be like prisoner 1050309. You do not have permission to check out that book. And then we would watch you get.
What are they going to do? Put me in jail for stealing books?
No, but they'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
All right. I've got some breaking news here.
Okay.
Buckle up, Will.
Yeah.
Denver Broncos wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy, does this workout.
It's like a children's game.
How the fuck does that help him?
Do you do this? Yeah. Do you do the same thing for your baby?
Yeah, that's like how you teach your baby hand-eye coordination. Yeah, I guess you're doing core strength, shoulders. It just seems like something like a trainer invented because they feel like they need to come up with new ways to earn their money as a trainer. Yeah.
I mean, if this helps him not drop passes, then I'm all for it.
This is all we need. Jerry,
he's a freak.
I was gonna say he might be like the king of off-season workout videos at this rate if he keeps going.
Yeah, because right after he was drafted, there's just videos of him just cutting on grass, basically.
Yeah, footwork.
Yeah, which like when it's not against people, anything looks cool, right?
Yeah.
Any kind of workout like by yourself looks pretty cool. But when you actually get on the field, it's like it's
not my workouts.
No, mine either.
My workouts, people are like would be like, "Oh, that he's getting old."
If someone took videos of me working out, just like be me like jogging, like running out of breath, like having to stop like every mile. Being like, why the fuck did I eat that last night? Why did I have 6 beers?
Right. Workouts the day after drinking are always the hardest.
They're terrible. Yeah,
but it motivates me because I'm like, I want to drink again tonight, so I have to push through this workout.
Yeah. I remember in college I would like work out before going out to like a party or something, so you get drunk faster.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like being at altitude.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but you're used to it though, so.
Yeah, I've eased back in. So we did our Patreon Zoom call, and that was last week. That was the first straight up whiskey I'd had in 2 months. And I only had one, so it's not like I got like drunk or anything. But the last 2 years, like I've mentioned several times on this podcast, all I drink really is whiskey. Mm-hmm. But taking 2 months off of it, the first sip I had, I was like, in my head, it's like, fuck, whiskey's strong.
Yeah.
Like you give a little break from it, that shit will hit you like you haven't ever drank whiskey before. I was like, do I even like whiskey? And then by like sip 3, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the right stuff. But I was surprised because I hadn't felt that way about this.
This is daddy's medicine.
Daddy's medicine tastes strong again.
Yeah, it hits you like a ton of bricks. I can confirm. I've been making Manhattans. Deadly.
I'm gonna have some whiskey tonight. But that will conclude our podcast, keeping it at 30 minutes, which we rarely do. But if you haven't subscribed here to That's Good Broncos on YouTube, please do. Will and I will be podcasting all offseason. Free agency, the draft are coming up, so there will actually be some big news, and you want us to break it to you because we do it gently.
We will break it gently. We will never actually break it. We'll just confirm other people that broke it first.
Yep. But we break it.
We broke the confirmation.
Yeah. We actually give Ben Albright all his info, so he should start quote tweeting us when he gets credit from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport.
Come on, Ben.
Actually, I'm going to tweet that to him right now.